I'm here with Frank Frappa from Premier Fresh Australia. Frank, thanks for joining me. You were recently awarded with the Hort Innovation Exporter of the Year at the Hort Connections show. That was in recognition of the incredible work that you and your team have done on the export side of the business in the last few years, but I would imagine that doing any kind of work in the last few years in export has been a pretty hard ask.
Look, definitely. We've had an enormous amount of challenges over the last few years, especially once COVID came into play. And then I guess it was the on-ball effect of after COVID going away, the world catching back up again. So, yeah, look, we had our challenges. We also had our discussions internally on how and what we would manage, whether we would continue or not. But we saw some great opportunities. We've seen that traditionally, or in the fruit and veg space, most of the exporters are of a much older generation. And many of the guys took this opportunity to sort of step out or cut back. And we saw it as an opportunity to take it on and have a real go. So, yeah, we've definitely had our moments, but it's been great. Our growth has been good and we're pretty excited.
Have there been any particular markets that you've seen significant success in the last few years?
It's probably been a bit of a range because we're strong in three commodities. So grapes, citrus and stone fruit are probably our three biggest strengths, but we're strong in all different markets, so I'd say probably 70% of our grapes and stone fruit going to China, whereas, we'd probably have our citrus go between the US, Canada, Taiwan, Vietnam, Korea, Japan, so more diverse. But I guess it's finally good to see now, I think probably in maybe the last 3 or 4 months, China start to rebound. They were probably impacted a lot later than most and a lot harder than what probably a lot of people realised. So, but most markets now and countries are coming back to normal, which is good to see.
And so this new iteration of export for Premier Fresh is a bit different from previous efforts in the export market. Premier Fresh and its predecessors have been around for quite a long time. It's a very well-established business. Could you maybe walk me through the export history of the organisation and its precursors? Yeah,
so back pre-merger of Lamana and Premier, Premier had gone through maybe 2 or 3 different export people within the business and exported a whole different range of products, but not on any real large scale. I mean, they definitely did some stone fruit, some grapes, some citrus, some vegetable lines at times, some mangoes, and it had its ups and downs. And then at the time, the gentleman who resigned, again pre-merger, the business didn't pick up international again. They sort of just let it fizzle out and go. And post-merger, I caught up with the business and had a chat with them, and they were interested in reinvigorating the international space. And we did it. And we did it slowly. Part of my first point of joining the business was to build the Trans-Tasman business between Australia and New Zealand, and especially with a focus on veggies, as the business is pretty heavily involved in veggies. Predominantly, we're doing zucchini and capsicums, and then some melons as well. Then there was an issue with New Zealand banning, all cucurbits, and then putting a higher emphasis on inspections on product that was going over from Australia. And it was just making it a lot more difficult. And at that time, we were building in other countries, and our fruit business was really starting to take off. So I sort of parked the New Zealand business and ran with the rest of it. And we're 5.5 years in now. We've got a team of about, and there's 10 of us now. And it's going really well.
Do you still have quite a strong relationship with New Zealand, given the organisation's link with MG Group over there?
Yeah, so MG is a major shareholder of the business still, and so we're obviously still linked in with them. They procure a lot of their own stock directly from over here, so we don't do as much, and to be honest, probably very very little nowadays. And also, what we found was bit challenging having someone as a middleman as well. At times it really wasn't needed. I mean, the guys are very proficient over there in what they do, and they've got a pretty good supply base over here, which coincides with our supply base, which works well as well. We do very little over there now.
Looking at the nature of export now, it's changed quite a lot compared to, say, 10, 15, 20 years ago. For instance, we're here at the Premier Fresh head office, which used to have a whole host of cool rooms out the back to hold product going to export. They're now empty, aren't they?
Yeah, so we probably about maybe 3 months ago, we moved all of our facility to the Epping market now. There's nothing done out of here anymore. Everything's done now out of Epping. But the whole landscape within export has definitely changed, in the last 10 to 15 years, probably even longer, even 20 years, from costs to equipment to ships to clearance, political issues, the whole lot. You can throw everything at it, because in probably the last 5 years, we've had challenges with every single one of them. Pre-COVID, shipping rates weren't so high. Equipment was available. There were ships left, right, and centre. You'd pay $4,000 to $5,000 a container to go into Asia. Nowadays, you're paying $9,000 to $11,000 a container. The Middle East, you'd pay probably $6,000 to $7,000. You're now paying $17,000 a container. So, cost is one thing. Obviously, then the cost of labour and cost of business in Australia right now is up through the roof, as we all are aware. So they add a hell of a lot of complexity. And then, the political issues we've had over the last 5 years, that's caused a lot of problems. A lot of people don't understand that when something is said in the media by the government, how quick that changes things in our space. Every challenge you can think of, we've definitely had it. But we're fresh produce guys, right? We're resilient. It's what we do.
Yeah, and I guess the relationship with the domestic market has shifted quite a lot, where export used to be seen as a pressure release valve for a good season for product that couldn't be sold on the domestic market. That's quite radically different now.
Look, definitely. Growers are now growing specifically for export markets, where, in previous, like you said, they'd focus on it as an offshoot, or, if they only had a specific premium line, whereas now people grow specifically for the international market. For us, we have a love with both. We need to have a love with both. It's important for our growers and our business. It gives us diversity in customers between, overseas and domestically. Gives us avenues to move the full crop. Growers these days that we work with and partner with, they don't want us to just come and say, okay, we want this 15% that's going to go into the supermarket, or this 15% that's going to go to export. They're saying, no, you need to take the whole crop. So we need avenues between both markets for that. Our own business, our international division used to be probably 1 or 2% of the business, and we're now edging close to 20%. So it's growing more and more, and we've got to focus to continue that growth.
And Premier Fresh is primarily a fruit exporter, but you have quite a large vegetable operation on the domestic market as well.
Yep. Yeah, so we've got our tomato farm based out at Lancaster, and we also partnered with a range of growers that grow different vegetables, so capsicums, zucchinis, eggplants, but majority of that stays here. To be honest, actually all of it stays here. There's none of it that we really export at this point in time. We are doing a little bit of baby broccoli at the moment into Korea, which is been good. It's been a good little program. But yeah, for us, majority of vegetables stay here, and we export a lot of fruit. And also what we've also found is we do get a lot of interest, for carrots or onions, potatoes or salads. But many growers who are already in that space are grower exporters. And so for us to try and compete in that space doesn't make sense.
Do you think any future opportunities are in that high value specialist niche variety space?
I think if you had something unique, something niche, there's always going to be that opportunity. But I think it makes it a lot more challenging, given that vegetables can be grown in a glass house, or they can, like most countries, can grow vegetables as an overall. So I think it'll be there, but nowhere near to the level of where fruits are.
And looking at your own journey into horticulture, into your current space in export, you've been with Premier for a number of years now, but previous to that you held a range of different roles. Could you maybe talk me through your start and how you got into horticulture?
Yeah, so I was 15 years old. I was leaving school and looking to do an apprenticeship. That was the one rule that was at home, that if I was to leave school, I had to have a job. And at the time I was working part-time casual in a Coles produce department, and I got offered a traineeship, which I took on. Really enjoyed that, did the traineeship, there was about 2 years, and then continued working through the stores, and then applied for a buying role, and it was a rebuy within Coles, and did a bit of buying for a little while, and then out of that into a supply role, working in a packing facility where we were packing apples and pears and stone fruit back into Coles and Woolworths and Aldi when Aldi first started. So I had an opportunity to explore what it was like to actually pack product, and then I spent a lot of time as a procurement manager, driving around the country just sourcing fruit, going to see growers, understanding what they were doing, how they were doing it, into a business development role and category management, and here we are today in my current role.
So you've worked through nearly the whole supply chain?
Through most of it, yeah, through most of it. And look, I've really enjoyed it, and it's probably one of my strengths. It's given me a good outlook on how things work from farm to fork, essentially.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Frank, for joining me and talking me through your history and your story.
No worries. Thank you.